episode of Journey of a Christian Writer. In this episode, I'm going over internal conflict, the inner world of characters. This episode I was meaning to do last Saturday, but a lot of different things happened within my family, so I just decided to switch it to this Saturday instead. Unfortunately, my dad passed away the 25th in September, which just so happened to be National Daughters Day. I didn't even really know that until my oldest sister mentioned that. That's why I just decided to just move this episode to the next Saturday instead of how this episode was supposed to be for last Saturday. But that's why I changed all of that. But anyways, in this episode, I'm going to talk about the inner world of characters. In previous episodes, I mentioned about the 4 inner operations of characters and generic and complex emotions that characters feel when faced with internal conflict. The inner world of characters is the meat and potatoes, pretty much, of internal conflict for characters, and is the complete essence of characters whenever readers open up fictional books or novels, and it's pretty much what makes them want to know more about the characters. There are specific components that really help to create the inner world of characters, and these include backstory or emotional wounds, fears or insecurities, motivation or goals, emotions or feelings, internal monologue or thoughts, and personality or worldviews. Here I have a diagram that I've put together for the inner world of characters that has the different main components that makes up the inner world of characters. The first one that I'm going to go over is for backstory or emotional wounds. Backstory is the past history and information about characters before the present time story, and includes emotional wounds from past traumas, hardships, or other vulnerabilities. All of these things creates a particular lie that the characters believe that influences them to use some type of emotional shielding or protections meant to keep the characters safe and from experiencing past experiences again. The characters' desperate efforts to protect themselves hinders them from facing their fears or insecurities. The second component that I'm going to go over is for fears or insecurities. Fears or insecurities are roadblocks that affects how characters function and the choices that characters make when faced with challenging situations. Primarily, there should be a dominant flaw that hinders the characters from progressing forward based on the false belief that a character has about themselves or the world. These flaws, fears, or insecurities are all things that the characters must work toward to overcome during their inner journey. Whether or not they overcome them depends on the character's motivation and goals. The third component that I'm going to go over is for motivation or goals. Character motivation is the driving force and reason for characters doing what they do in the story. Goals are important and create strong purpose for characters taking certain actions when faced with conflict and obstacles. When outlining motivation for characters, some good questions to ask yourself are, what does the characters want to accomplish? What are their needs or desires? And what's at stake if the characters aren't able to accomplish their goals? Based on however characters handle these situations in the story will be dependent on the characters' emotional responses, hence their emotions or feelings. The fourth component that I'm going to go over is for emotions or feelings. As I mentioned before, emotions are the main ways that writers can connect with their readers. It's important for writers to create an emotional landscape and to take certain questions into consideration when creating this for characters and worlds. Some questions to take into consideration when creating an emotional landscape for characters and worlds are the following. How are the characters interacting with their story environment? What moods can be set in scenes to add emphasis and show your character's emotional states to readers? Does any sights, sounds, smells, or textures evoke flashbacks or memories in your characters? What is their level of emotional intelligence? And how does your character's emotions change over time? It's good for writers to use their settings to their advantage to create mood, and from their characters' motivations to show their characters' emotional responses. The same can be the case for internal monologue or characters' thoughts. The fifth component that I'm going to go over is for internal monologue. Internal monologue is the subconscious thoughts of characters, but can also be inner dialogue that characters have with themselves. Maybe a character is trying to make a difficult decision and pondering over their alternatives. These thoughts have effects upon characters and can alter or direct how characters behave or react when dealing with and faced with different conflict or other story situations. Personalities and worldviews are also big contributors to how characters behave or operate during their inner journey. The sixth and last component that I'm going to go over is for personality and worldviews. Giving characters distinctive personalities and traits allows writers to make them more lifelike, it creates contrast among them, and it allows readers to be able to distinguish them from one another. It's also a good idea to give characters both positive and negative traits and to outline their strengths and weaknesses. Their worldviews will include core beliefs, interests, and characters' outlooks on life. Crafting rich inner worlds of characters takes strategic planning and critical thinking, but the components and elements listed and mentioned from my diagram are essentially what will help writers in creating them. That's all that I have for this video. I hope it was helpful, and until next time, happy writing. My publishing company, Risen Halo, is now on Pango Books. Pango Books is an online platform where readers can get used books at discounted prices. Are you an avid reader? Interested in getting my Christian fiction books at discounted prices? Then follow my shop to get the notifications on special sales. God bless, and thank you for your support.